Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Jessy J is back. She returns with a new album. It's her 10th album, Terranova. Congratulations and welcome back, Jessy J.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Great to be here.
It's good to be here with you and to play the music from the album. Um, the album is out today, same day as this broadcast, April 4th, so you can get it everywhere. But I got it a couple days early, so I've just been really enjoying the album. We were talking about before break how jazz just fills up the room and fills up your life and fills up your mind and body and soul with just such a positive, healthy feeling. You know, it feels like you're doing something good for yourself. And this album is amazing. Terra Nova, the single that's out today, also is My Everything. We're going to play that single in its entirety at the very end of the interview here. Um, so before the break, we were talking about a little bit about the album, the inspiration, and how easy. You said something interesting happened while recording this new album. I felt so at peace, so calm, content, and confident. I think you'll feel that energy too in Terra Nova. Those are your words regarding the album. I like that idea of creating this music and it coming to you and then coming to us in that peace, calm, content, and confident feeling. So I wanted to ask you, would you call Terra Nova a return to your Latin jazz roots, Jesse?
I would. I intentionally wanted to go back there because that's how I first started off. And I feel like I've made a complete circle from where I started. This Tequila Moon was a Latin jazz project, and then I went on to Second Chances, which was more of an R&B flavor. Then I had my live album, a Christmas album, the Blue album was 60s and 70s. Every album had a different feel to it, and this one returns to that same Tequila Moon when I first started, how I felt, and what I wanted to like bring across to everybody through my music.
So it's a full, as you said, a full kind of a full circle from the beginning to back. Your 10th album, a very special album indeed, and you've gone full circle and you've explored all these different musical um, interests in your career to this point, to this album, current album. Um, how have you changed though as a musician from that first? From your back, your Latin jazz roots and coming full circle. If you had to look, if you can look back into your life right now, how have you changed from that musician with that first album to this album?
Well, I definitely have a lot more experience now, touring, performing, writing, recording, all of the things. But I think the music stays the same. The music that I grew up with, the music that I listen to, it all flows from me. I've also had a lot of personal experiences that bring a depth to my music in a different way, even though I've always played from that part of my heart and soul where things flow. I have more to come from. So let's say, the COVID pandemic. I can play off of that. I can play off of being a mom and all of the other parts of my life that I didn't have when I recorded Tequila Moon.
Um, you have two beautiful sons. They've been a great inspiration, I know, in your life and love. How do they add a dynamic to you to your music as a musician? Does being a mother adds a different depth as a musician, do you think?
It definitely does. For example, the way that they see things is just so innocent and so peaceful. My They went to my concert recently, and my son said, "Mom, you played every note right." Like he said, "You didn't make any mistakes." And I thought it was just so cute that he would say that because in jazz improvisation, you can have colorful notes and notes that are a little bit off as long as you resolve them to the right tone. But he always just, it's like the way they see things is just full of love. And when I play a song, sometimes I do perform for them. I'm like, how would David like to hear this? Or how would Mateo like this song? So I think of their spirit too when I'm performing live.
Mm, that's beautiful. And uh, is there a better publication, a better, uh, I don't know, in the music industry, a better could you get a better uh, review than that, the one your son gave you? I mean, that probably means more than anything, doesn't it?
It was just the cutest thing ever. He's so
That is
sweet.
cute. That is cute. Um, so I was imagining you when I was listening to that album. I was imagining you as the artist that created this album when you first get it. And I'm imagining a record, like good old record. You get the jacket and and the album inside. Um, and it gets handed to you for the first time. It's another child basically that you've created, something you've brought into the world that wasn't there before, in quite that way, quite the arrangement. What's that? Tell me about when you got the album for the first time, and and then how do you? What's the perfect environment if you could set the scene where you put it on a record player for the first time? What's the perfect environment for all of us to listen to this album as well?
When I listen to music, I like to do nothing else, includes not talking. So I'm one of those people that I'm like, if I'm really listening, I just want to just enjoy it from start to bottom. And so I would probably have a nice meal, grab a drink, and then sit down, put my feet up, and listen to the very first to the very end. And then when I'm done, I would just think, wow, what were those songs about? What did they mean? Where did it take me? What did it remind me of? A lot of these songs have a special meaning. Like I mentioned, Piel Canela, No More Blues talks about settling down. And then Right on Time has that funky jazz new swing to it. So each song kind of takes you on a journey. But for me, that's how I like to listen to music. And a lot of people like even my husband, for example, he likes to talk the entire time he listens to music. And I'm like, I can't hear the song. I want to hear it. So everyone's different.
I'm like that with movies, and like if I'm watching something, please don't talk because I get out of it. And music's that way a little bit too. It does become a little grating if someone's talking while you're trying to absorb the music or an album. I get that. That's I'm with you on that one. Um, we had a power outage on our first segment at the very, very end there, and so I wasn't able to let the listener know what they heard when we went to break. Terra Nova was the first song that we played, Jesse, off the album, as we went to break, and we came in with Beso de Sol. Do you want to say anything about those two that we just heard?
Sure. Well, Terra Nova is all about new land, and it represents the new beginning for me, the next 10 albums of my career, because I do feel like I'm still at the beginning stages. And then Beso de Sol, something interesting happened while I was recording this song. The sun was shining through the studio window, and actually recorded it on my phone, the whole entire take. You see the sun shining down. So I feel like, it was like a heavenly kiss.
Almost like right now. If you're watching Jesse on the YouTube channel, yeah, the you've got that sunlight on you. It's great lighting.
Thank you.
Um, really great music, and we're going to play another song coming up here in a few minutes. But before we take our next break, what type of discipline do you need to be a great sax player? Um, I'm sure it's similar to all music artists play. You mentioned to me off air that you have to practice on the piano and play on the piano every single day, or you miss it and your your body misses it in a way, right? That you feel like you haven't practiced, that you're out of practice, even if it just a day goes by. But as for a saxophone player, what are the are there distinct disciplines there? And when you're a kid and you're not as disciplined and you picked it up at 9, were there disciplines in learning to play that instrument that appealed to you, that you love now, that you loved then?
Yeah, I feel like a very disciplined person in general. And when I was younger, I did practice almost every day. I want to say 5 out of 7 days a week. In our band, we had a practice log. We had to fill it in how many minutes we practiced. And I was always working towards something, whether it was a band competition, a solo festival, or piano recital, piano competition. And I noticed right away if you took more than 2 days off in a row, when you got back, you were behind. So I didn't like that feeling. I always wanted to keep getting better and better and better and better. And I was really just challenging myself. And that's why I try to practice every day. And I notice it now too. If I take more than 2 days off, it takes me a while to get back to where I was. So I just try to maintain where I am. And then if I'm working on a new project, it entails a lot of writing, arranging, and those types of things. So it's a more time on the musical instruments.
And you appreciate that in that time. You appreciate that discipline.
I
It
love
works
it.
works for you.
I like being alone. I've discovered that I am somewhat of an introvert, and that's why I like to be alone and practice my music.
Well, I was gonna say you're too late. You're a mother now. You've got two kids. You can't be. You have to sneak away, don't you? You have to find that space, that time. Uh, I wanted to correct myself. I'm looking at the music soundtrack here right now. I played Terra Nova to open the show. So that was our opening song. And then we went out when the power went out to Beso del Sol. We came back in with Mr. Magic.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a good one. Um, and I wanted to give you an opportunity before we go to break here, if you'd like to say anything about that's special about this song, Mr. Magic, that we came in with, and we're going out with No More Blues, which I really loved. Might be one of my favorite.
thanks. Thank you. Well, Mr. Magic, I love Grover Washington Jr. I'm a huge fan. And for the longest time, I've been wanting to do one of his songs. And again, Paul Brown produced the album and he thought, what do you think about this? I'm like, yep, this is the one. If I'm going to do a cover song, this is going to be it because I love Grover. The arrangement was just on fire. And like, this is one of those songs that I did in just one take because I felt a vibe. I was catching the vibe and I just went with it. So, and for me, Grover was an all around wonderful musician. Like, he played tenor, he played the flute, he played the alto, he played the bari sax, he played straight ahead jazz, he played contemporary jazz. He did classical. I mean, talk about a world-class musician. He's someone that I really look up to.
Yeah.
So when I had a chance to play one of his songs, I just jumped on it. And so that one fits really well in this whole process too. Like, from if you're going to pick a classic song to record, I'm like, you can't get better than that. And then No More Blues actually suggested to Paul Brown because it's a song that I love. And I love Joe Beam. I love Brazilian jazz. And he thought I was going to play it on the saxophone in the studio. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to sing it. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm going to sing this song. I really love it. I know the words. I've been practicing it. And yeah, I sang it. And then for a bonus track, I decided to do an instrumental version. And that's a streaming version only. But on the actual album, it's the singing vocal version.
It's funny you mentioned that about the singing because that's what I loved about it. Um, all of a sudden all of a sudden your vocals are there, and and I was surprised, and I'm like, oh, I love this. This is it's such a beautiful voice, and it just was. I don't know, the whole song I really loved for those reasons. It's funny you mentioned um, that he was surprised you were going to do the vocals. My guest today, Jessy J, she's a top contemporary jazz saxophonist. She returns with many things. She returns with a new album, her 10th album, and a milestone. She also returns to her Latin jazz roots, full circle from her first album to the 10th album. She returns to those Latin jazz roots, and the result is outstanding. She reunites with Grammy-winning producer Paul Brown, and she brings us a new single, My Everything, and the new album, both on the same day. The gifts Keep coming here. Jessy J is my special guest. The new album is Terra Nova. For a complete discography, visit jessyj.com. There's a lot there, a lot to look at. You'll spend some time there. There's merchandise, tour dates, photos, so much good stuff, and music, of course, on Facebook and Instagram. Jessy J Sax. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.